Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very warm welcome to Baypark Trustpower Stadium. It is round one of the 2019 D1NZ Drifting Championship. We're with the man, the hometown hero, Cole Armstrong. You came second here last year, but you went on to take the championship.
Yeah, mate, we had a good fun year. We didn't obviously get the huge wins that we wanted, but we're always in that top five, and consistency is key throughout this whole championship. But yeah, wrapped to have such a good season last year, back-to-back, 2 in a row. We're back here again, mate. The sun's out. We're having fun. We've got new things. Me and Darren have teamed up together. We've got the old girl back here. We're having fun, mate. We're scraping those walls. We're laying some rubber down and putting a show on.
Well, it shows what we've come to watch, and of course it's time now to go straight to Pro Sport qualifying.
Drifting is a sideways evolution from traditional motorsports. Each driver competes for points given out by a select panel of judges. The 3 major scoring criteria are line, angle and style. Together they form a score out of 100. Line is a racing line marked out by clipping points. Drivers need to consistently hit these areas to score maximum points. Angle is how much rear slip angle a car produces. Competitors need to engage as much opposite steering lock as possible to receive a higher score. Style is a combination of driving technique, showmanship, brake application, throttle control and overall driver ability. Teams and drivers have 2 laps in qualifying to start the competition. The top qualifiers move through into a seeded battle tree, battling through each bracket until the top 4 drivers compete for the final podium. A drift battle requires each driver to take turns leading and chasing. The lead driver's objective is to match or better their performance in qualifying. The chase car's objective is to get as close as possible to the rear quarter of the leading car, using it as a mobile clipping point. The judges' lineup for the 2019 season features a wealth of experience as Brendan Dunker returns as line judge. More than 15 years in the sport, a D1NZ veteran and series technical advisor with 35 points up for grabs. Dan Mackey is back again, based out of Sydney with the High-Tech Drift Australia Series, another driver with more than 15 years experience. He's been a drift judge since 2013, as well as joining the lineup for the annual International Drift Challenge as part of World Time Attack. The final judge is a returning face to the D1NZ Series. 2005 New Zealand drifting champion Adam Richards completes the lineup, a D1NZ veteran who's represented New Zealand on the world stage, competing in the D1 All-Stars as well as the European Drift Championship. The D1NZ Drifting Championship has achieved some big feats over the last decade, creating Australasia's first ever indoor drifting circuit at Dunedin's iconic Forsyth Bar Stadium. It's part of a new trend for stadium-style motorsport around the world, and this weekend is no exception for the opening round of the 2019 D1NZ season. The custom-made concrete line drifting course has been prepared from underneath the speedway clay at Trustpower Baypark Stadium in Tauranga, the beautiful Bay of Plenty hosting the opening round of the D1NZ series for the very first time. The drifting circuit at Baypark remains the same as 2018, with a few minor alterations to the competition criteria. Cars will launch from a standing start with a short run-up into the Turn 1 sweeper, entry speeds anywhere between 80 and 120 km per hour, and it's a full power acceleration into the initiation start line and onto the big wall ride, a long outside clipping zone to start the course. Drivers need to come off the sweeper to a fast, snappy switch to an inside clip on the left-hand side of the track. From here it is a smooth, wide switch onto an outside clipping zone where drivers will be allowed to use left foot braking to fill the outside zone, where a smooth, wide line will carry them through to the next switch, hitting the rear clipping point on the right-hand side of the track, setting themselves up for the final left-hander, a full smooth power arc through the return loop and through to the finish line.
Qualifying driver number 1 out on track, Sean Potros. Just ensuring the last of the judges gives a thumbs up that they're happy to go. As we release Potros down the front straight and into the wall ride we go. So sitting nicely up the track, which is exactly where the judges want to see. Let's see how he goes through this front clip. He actually hits it really, really nicely. So we're looking to, and they have been talking about this man's driving all day. Of course, a newcomer, a rookie driver for the D1NZ Pro Sport Championship, up through NZ Baypark, and brings it back up to the wall. This is a great first up drive. That machine's certainly looking choice. Well, smashing the gas, coming through KASPA Transmissions, another rookie driver, three-wheeling it coming out of the first section. And he's certainly dialing on the pace, comes through and fills it, but chucks a couple of wheels off. It's going to be a massive deduction as he powers on through. As a rookie driver, you want to set a lap. But it's not afraid to jump on the loud pedal. Matthew Brown, certainly a few marks on the rear end of the Pace Solutions 180SX. Next up, of course, our live stream sponsors, Blacklion, also on the side of Adam Whitehead, out of the Hawke's Bay, who gasses it up in the A31 Safiro. Certainly slowing down, still filling the Turbosmart zone, but not as quick as what we've seen some of the other drivers do. Just comes off that TTI, missing it and firing it through the centre section. Is he going to bring it further out the wall or stay mid-track? I think it's going to be mid-track and finish. Oh, comes very close to grazing up. No, keeps the sponsors on the side. Doesn't quite hit the wall. And the Ford Barra-powered S15 will be the next car to take track. His first run. Don't forget, if you are here in the crowd, hashtag D1NZ 2019. Let's see a selfie of you. Kicking the clutch and off we go. Just off that section there, comes through up top, needed to run a midline, missing the TTI clip. But back up through the wall ride through KASPA Transmission. And absolutely railing the concrete. And Alex Griffin, the judge is pretty impressed with what he did coming out of that last section, I'd say. So he has moved into second position with a 65-point run. Still Sean Potros with a 75.5 leads as Michael Thorley in the R-Dog makes his way on up to KASPA Transmission's wall ride. You can see there's very little weight on that right front because of the position the judges want to see the cars run. Hitting that clip, and it looks like he's set himself up nicely. It's about half a metre off that outer zone through Turbosmart, but certainly grabs the TTI clip. I think he actually grabbed the concrete wall, but he's dialing in the angle. He's up there where the judges want to see him and slides back out. He is allowed to bring the nose down of the car as he exits the turn and brings that NZ R-Dog to a stop. And Sean Potros remains in first position with a 75.5. Michael Thorley now second with a 67-point pass. That pushes Alex Griffin down to third with a 65, and Adam Whitehead, Matthew Brown in behind. So let's see another newcomer as we welcome him to the D1NZ Pro Sport Championship. Aaron Hyatt in the Cactus Bay Nissan S14 and kisses the concrete hard. Front bumper off. He came in with the rear end of the car, and of course that dragged the front end around. We can see the team from the D1NZ safety crew rushing off to ensure. Just a reminder, I can't see anyone going down there, but please do keep away from the vehicles if they do come to a stop in front of you. Let's see what happens. So he comes out through KASPA Transmission, hits the front, and hits to the back, and when that happens, it just drags the front, and off goes our S15 tail light, headlight. Let's have a look, another shot at that. So it comes through, grabs it with the back end and just drags the front of the car and brings it to a stop. So we'll look at left front steering damage, and we'll probably end up needing to bring in our downtown vehicle recovery truck. Well, welcome back to the D1NZ National Drifting Championship 2019. Out on track, we've got Adam Chaplin in the Mazda FCRX7 1.2 JZ. It's about 530 horsepower. Sponsored by Pronto Automotive Beach Haven. Great looking car. Looks good on camera, looks good on the track. Firing through the KASPA transmission, wall ride. Certainly getting it up there. What do you think about that as he fires it through, sends it down into the centre and brings it to a halt? So a good drive first up. Adam Chaplin is another one of our new drivers to the D1NZ R32 Skyline. Well, another one of our local drivers. So Chaplin got a 14.5 in line, 18 in angle. Style was 20, first run 52.5. But out on track is Kurt Blackie. Had a great first one up as a rookie driver last year down in Wellington. This time his first one up will be Baypark, the place he calls home. Not a lot of smoke, but he's getting the right sort of angle clip, hits that clip at this point here, and then rushes back up to the wall through NZ Vapor and driving out of the KASPA transmissions. Wall ride, and brings that R32 Skyline to a halt with the Dirty Plus D. So, of course, at Bay Dreams, we had a couple of big bands, big groups playing. One of them was Sticky Fingers Australian group. And in behind the passenger seat, yesterday of both the Pato Entertainment S13 that's on the track now, as well as Cole Armstrong's V-Energy R34. 40.5. Blackie's certainly been a huge deduction in points, but let's go back to the action on track. Mid-track run, he needs to be a little bit higher up for Calvin Clark. He's obviously going to set a score or try to set a score to start with. We'll certainly know from Calvin Clark of past, he will try his best to go up and smash out the big points in the second run, but heads back out. And that's a nice finish, nice end of the lap. Certainly not struggling in pace. So Kurt Blackie currently in 8th position with a 40.5, absolutely getting slaughtered for that. I think there's a potential straight line. I don't think we're going to get our score in time, so we'll go straight back up to the next car out on track. Andrew Donahue and the HK Upholsterers. C33 Laurel. Shallows up coming out of the teardrop, but it certainly hits his outside clip. He gets back up on the wall. Finishing, and we can see up on screen, Calvin Clark grabbing a 72-point run, and that will put him into second position. So oh, what's happened to Russell Vere? Looks like something's gone very, very wrong. Comes to a stop, and it's going to be interesting to see what the judges think about this. Russell Vere, this is his first time out. I want to know if he's been out, if there's a bailout zone. If we get the chance, maybe we could talk to Brendan Dunker from, of course, our judging team. Welcome him to the show. Brendan Dunker, welcome back to the show here.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm great, mate. Look, we've got a cone down there. Have we got a bailout zone, or is it forward motion?
No, that looks to be a mechanical failure from Russell there. So
that'll be scored as a 0 then, coming through into is his first run?
Yes, it would be. The bailout zone is only ever the bailout zone is only ever activated in a battle situation. So if they get gapped by another driver, being a chase car, then yeah, they can use that. This case, he's broken something off the line. He's being towed off, so he forfeits this qualifying run. But
and a lot of work to do.
And a lot of work to do before his second qualifying run.
So you're back into it. You've had an off-season off, but you've been doing things like you were in Australia doing some work over there with
That's right, yep. So I was recently in Australia with the World Time Attack series with Dan Mackey next to me, who organised the judging scenario over there. We had the D1NZ guys as well running the situation there, which was pretty amazing. I joined Dan to judge a bit of the high-tech drift series over there as well. And we had a couple other events like Bathurst and Gold Coast 600, and yeah, it was great. So a good bit of time off there.
I've just found a young Liam Honour in the...
Oh, it is
I don't know, why is he not running? Run out of talent, or I'm running out of... You need a sponsor. Everyone needs a sponsor.
I've done one day over at Taupo. It was really good testing. Yeah, just a few little days here and there. Went over to Jaranoa Kona Shovember.
Okay. All right, well, look, out on track, we've got Charlie Bond Walsh. How much of this man do you know about?
I know a fair bit about Charlie. He's one of the other Naki boys.
Oh, so you'd know him pretty well. Naki boys, it's a little bit shallow coming through this section here. Comes under Mimiko. Needs to really hit that outside clip. Powers up through KASPA transmission, though. Dialing on and winding on the angle. A nice second half of the run, but would you think that maybe the first half a little bit sloppy? To 9th, bumping Kurt Blackie down to 10th. Next car out, though, will be Atlan Norman, his first run. New car for Atlan, isn't it, for the D1NZ?
Yeah, new car for Atlan. He's running LS power plant going from the RB.
Well, that's going to make things a lot better for him.
It's quite shallow through that section there.
One of the things I've noticed, if you come too shallow, you actually seem to drag a whole lot, or probably too much speed, and you end up missing that clip there, and it absolutely unsettles the rest of your lap.
It's also been quite tricky for a lot of the drivers with the clay and the actual surface.
I mean, and they are going to, however, go down and check it. So Tay James, his first run, let's have a look and see. So Potros still leads the way with a 75.5 from Calvin Clark with a 72. Donahue, 69.5, I missed him. And then Michael Thorley gets bumped to 67. Almost ready to set them loose again. Atlan Norman, we've got him as a 40.5. I thought it was a better run than that. We'll come back to it as Taylor James heads straight for the concrete. Certainly filling up that KASPA transmission zone really nicely. See what he can come through and do, and that was a nice clip there.
Yeah, it was.
He has slowed it right down though, but gets back on the power.
On that wide line, right through the Mimiko where they want him.
He comes pretty close to that clip.
Yeah, and that TDI clip.
So as we watch him come through and fill out the KASPA transmission zone again, I think that this one here, this is a very, very good run.
Yeah. Taylor James is...
Equipment movers auto serve Sylvia. That puts him into second position, dropping Calvin Clark back to third. I thought it was a pretty good run, but I mean, obviously the judges generally do score a little bit tougher in the first sort of round of the year anyway. David Hunter, our next person out on track. So we've got two did not qualifies for the first run, and Russell Vere and Aaron Hyatt. But it's David Hunter out for his first run in qualifying on the loud pedal. Mashes the gas. Certainly hard on the brakes. And look how shallow he's had to run. He came in really hot, but had to go up and scrub off so much speed. But by doing so, he's really missed that outer zone. James Wynyard behind the wheel of that Nissan 180.
This is actually, I think it was Joe Marshall's
Is that right? This is
Marshall's old.
because of course they painted it black, and now they've gone for that that colour that was made hideous by Kurt Blackie last year. All right, the Big Bear Experience on the side. Let's see what James Wynyard can do. He starts by really running shallow, and if you start that shallow, you can't push out to the wall, and it can really in a big straight line. So straight line in qualifying, we'll see potentially. Well, it should be a 0 score in theory. They might give him just a heavy deduction, but we'll find out. Last part of the lap was pretty damn good though. Still off the line. VIP car here on the side. Hobby Tyres, big shout out to the team at Hobby Tyres. In the hospitality area, Jordan Joyce behind the wheel of this Rocket Bunny S13. Another rookie in the D1NZ Championship. Not as high up, but certainly carrying good speed. Let's see what Joyce can do as he powers out, filling. Nah, definitely not a hint of dirt coming through under Mimico. Does grab that TTI clip. Let's see how he goes as he ventures out towards the wall. I've got to say, that's a very, very nice first up qualifying drive. That's his first time in run. He's currently in provisional pole position. Let's see if he can take it a step further and increase his lead. Look at him, straight up to the wall. Gutsy performance, straight up for a rookie driver. First one up. And he's going back to back. It looks even better through that section than his first run. Let's see if he can hold it together. A little bit slow, but still filling the Turbosmart zone. Comes under Cabalco.
Amazing aggression.
Hits the clip through TTI. That's exactly what the judges want. They want aggression, and it doesn't get more aggressive than that. I'm sure something flew off the car from the back end. If that doesn't increase his score after the first run, then the judges are idiots. Certainly grabbing a podium for pole position as such, but can he finish on the top spot? Well, Matthew Brown, again, another man willing to go up the top shelf, brings the nose down a little bit too soon though, as you see him rail the one wheel off as such as he comes through and hits the terracotta. This is nice through this section here, and again, filling that zone. So aggressive to start, but brought the nose down too soon. It'll be interesting to see what the judges think. Hits that out of clip nicely. Goes up through NZ Vapor, and again, he's right up by the wall. Winds a bit of angle to bring the nose down. I think he thought he was going to hit it, but then by doing so, he's unsettled the tail end of his lap. Let's hope he can bring it to a stop. Matthew Brown, certainly entertaining out there. And Brown does move up into a share of 5th position. No? Sure I saw that come through. No, boy. Let's have a look. He does. 5th position with a 69.5. Shares that position with Andrew Donahue. Matthew Brown up into 5th. These rookies are really doing it. What do you think about that, Liam?
Pretty disappointed that I didn't end up running this year.
Well, you think
it's going to be a good one for sure.
Certainly is. So Adam Whitehead this time, his turn to try and increase the score. Certainly nice and high through here. Does grab that clip. These guys are putting on a show at the moment. No, there can't have been any dirt.
Yeah.
Especially if you're watching on the screen. I can see it out there. Let's see what he can do. Adam Whitehead putting on a show. Powering out of the final section and brings the Blacklion A31 Safiro to a stop.
So we'll see the flames coming out
In the way, but what a drive for Adam Whitehead. Probably his best qualifying we've seen him do in quite some time. Alex Griffin now out on track with the Barra of the World S15. What can Stocky do? Again, look, these drivers, it's his second year for Stocky. Just a clean drive. I don't think we're going to see any huge improvements, although look at him get back up towards that wall. Is it certainly higher than what we may have seen him in the first one? Let's just hope he's got some good brakes. Probably one of the only. What is he? Sitting in 6th position. Michael Thorley will be wanting to will move up. He's now in 9th place with a 67. Straight out to the wall he goes. Grinding against the KASPA transmission signs out there. Comes through NZ Vapor. Let's see if he can bring the nose down. Winds on the angle. And then fires it through the teardrop. Certainly filling the outer line. Is that going to be enough to challenge these first or second qualifying order? Let's see what he can do as he comes right back up to the wall. I'm sure he kissed it as he came through NZ Vapor. Holding on to the gas. Feathering the throttle. Does come. Did he clip that at the end? What a drive by Michael Thorley. Aaron Hyatt's case that he can. Cactus Vapor sponsor 700 horsepower 2JZ power plant in that Nissan S14. No front bumper. It looks like it's a bit of a handful already as he comes through. And a very, very ugly first up into the first turn. That car is not nice. And with 2 wheels off, dirt turbo, back on the gas again. Like, how far are these judges? The judges going to deduct enough to call that a 0 pass, or are they going to just heavily... So he comes to a stop, I hope. And I cannot see an improvement on there. It still says 0. I mean, I'm pretty certain that 16th place, no score. Well, let's go back up to Adam Chaplin out there in the SCRX7. .530 horsepower, the Pronto Automotive Beach Haven FCRX7. We'll see him come through the next sweeping left-hander. A little bit shallow coming out, so we're going to see a deduction in points there. We can actually see Kurt Blackie in the Cooper Tyres KBNZ RB25 Dirty Plus T in that nice looking R32 Skyline. If you get a chance, go down on the pits and check out the KBNZ. The team from the Cave are there, and they've got some amazing virtual VR goggles, etc. And not just gaming, hashtag not just gaming. Check them out on Instagram as well, the KBNZ. So Blackie, he was a 40.5. Nice and fast, coming through. Brings the nose down. A little bit shallow through that clip. Comes up and he is off the zone. I don't know if he's going to actually improve from the first one, but he winds on the angle. Let's see if he can snap back. He certainly fills that one there. And is he going to venture? How high up the wall is he going to go? Or is he going to go all the way? Certainly a very, very nice second half of the lap. That might be enough to see him improve. And the 54.5 moves Kurt Blackie from 14th up into 11th place. So releasing Calvin Clark. Prime Avocados S13. Sounds like a huge big clutch kick halfway through the sweeper. Certainly riding up towards the wall. Let's see what he can do with the nose of the car as he comes through. Grabs that first clip. Can he fill that outer zone though? He's right on it. What a drive so far. Judges are going to be liking what they see here. How aggressive through the TTI, up through NZ Vapor. And is he going to sit it back on the wall again? Looks like he's hitting there. Oh, look at Calvin Clark, ladies and gentlemen. Another local man throws it sideways. What a drive. And Calvin Clark moves up to second position with an 81.5. 0.5 of a point above Sean Potros. Andy Donoghue next one out. So first position, Michael Thorley so far. Calvin Clark in second. Sean Potros with an 81 in third. Andy Donoghue, can he spoil somebody else's party? The height that he's running right now, he looks like he's pretty keen to it as he powers out of the first section, coming through the sweeper. Hits NZ Vapor. Can he bring the nose down? Winds on the angle, brings the nose down, takes the cone out. That's okay. It's all about entertainment now in the HK Upholsterers. C33 Laurel. And so Russell Vere, supposed to be campaigning an immaculate SCRX7, but sitting behind the wheel of an S13 at the moment. We'll see him no doubt for the next round of the D1NZ Championship down in Wellington. Just a clean run. Still ventures out to the wall. It was a nice start, but I think we've probably got a few deductions through that midsection. Great finish, though, as he powers out of the final turn, bringing that At Pace Solutions S13 to a stop. So Charlie Bon Walsh back out on track, 15th position with a 46 after the first one. Certainly dialing on a bit of speed and angle this time here as he comes through. Still the back end a little bit too low down, but a lot faster run than he did the first time through. Hits that first clip. Can he fill the outer zone? Does it nicely. Runs that centre section. We'll see how aggressive he can be on this flick. Comes right back up. Keep your foot in it. Oh, that's not what we're going to see. But goes back on, bugger it. Let's keep on going, he says. Atlan Norman, the next person to hit the track. So, have we had any changes at the top? Only a handful of cars to go in this Pro Sport qualifying. Atlan Norman, the next car out. Second run of the day. Certainly a lot higher up than he did the first run. Winding on the angle. Atlan Norman certainly enjoying being behind the wheel of a V8 powered S15. Taylor James, 5th place after his first run with a 73.5 shared with Jordan Joyce. Can he improve it? If there's anyone that could, Taylor James certainly somebody to watch. And off he goes, heading towards the wall. Filling it beautifully coming out of the Turbosmart zone. Hits that TTI. This is a good run for Taylor James. James firing it out of the KASPA transmission. Wall ride back onto the front straight again. Look at him railing that concrete wall. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. He's happy. Taylor James. 81.5. Taylor James bumps Clark and moves into second position with an 82.5 for the best run. That's his second run. Michael Thorley, 85, still with provisional pole, but what a drive for Taylor James in his second run. David Hunter, it's his turn to try and do it, and washing out to the wall is exactly how you want to do it. That's it, hold it in there. Gives it a clutch kick to carry on. Certainly got all the angle in the world. Misses that clip there, but let's see him go back up to the wall again. Three-wheeling it. Empowering out of the last corner. Grazing the rear end. That is a very, very nice run for David Hunter. Let's see what if there's been a change for David Hunter. Second run was marked down for coming out of that Turbosmart zone with a 56.5. So 11th position is the highest we're going to see. As James Wynyard in the Big Bear Experience, Janakahatia trucking 180. Shallow line coming out of the first turn, comes through and does the same thing as before. Hits the cone. Wynyard was sitting in 15th position after his first. Gets up to the wall though. Looks like he's freewheeling as he comes out of turn number 4. James Wynyard, second run. place. Charlie Bond Walsh with a 46. Here we go. So confirmation up on screen. Michael Thorley, 85 points. Congratulations. Goes into top position going into tomorrow's battles. Taylor James with an 82.5. In second place from Calvin Clark, the Prime Avocados man. He's got some avocados down the pits if you get a chance. Sean Potros with an 81. Adam Whitehead in fifth. Jordan Joyce, 73.5. Matthew Brown, Andrew Donahue, Alex Griffin, and Atlan Norman. One of the cool things that we've got is that we've got a few drivers. Sean Potros, what a great drive. Fourth place for him. A new driver to the D1NZ field. The same with Jordan Joyce, 73.5 for sixth. Matthew Brown in seventh. Of course, the return of Andrew Donahue and the return of Atlan Norman with a 68.5 for 10th place. So a great first showing. Now, some of the drivers that didn't do as well as we may have expected them to go, of course, we've got some of the guys further back, the likes of Kurt Blackie. He finished in 13th. I think he qualified 4th or finished 4th maybe in the first run last year. So he had